Welcome to the CueSports International Expo. This is the $25,000 added Diamond Las Vegas Open. We have a full field of 128 players. This is the second of 5 U.S. Pro Billiard Series events, sponsored and presented by CueSports International and Predator. The game is 10-ball, race to 4, winner breaks, best of 2 sets. If players split sets, we go to an exciting spot shot shootout. This is George Teache in the booth. For a little bit, we're going to be replaced. And Jeremy Jones bringing you live action from the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino.
Yeah, replaced George, but never duplicated. Now Carlo Biado, who played a pretty fine set on this table, but we talked about when Kazakis played, not sure anybody looked cleaner. Now, we did discuss that he was a huge favorite in his first match when he did play so well, so we'll see if that has any effect here now that he's playing a former world champion and, in my opinion, a top 5 or 10 player in the world.
Well, he is, by Fargo, he's number 11 with the highest, with 817. And Alex is at 805. I think I misspoke again.
Now, this is a funny combination, just because he's got to put some speed on it, because the one's definitely coming up. And so the good thing is he's got to cut it so speed on the cue ball isn't too much of a problem, but I think he's got to move it almost back to the center of the, oh, he really rolled it. Nah, I think that was a mistake on how he played it. That really promoted maybe missing the combo, trying to hold the one there. Because it looked like to me if he hit it clean, the one was coming up some, George.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, this is a funny shot. What do you do?
Be creative.
Yeah, but where? I mean,
try to bank the 4. Don't call and get the cue ball down by the deuce.
Yeah, I thought he would do something subtle.
Oh, he's going to
here.
go something, yeah.
Trying to keep him off the run out and off the easy safety.
Well,
the good thing is the easy safety isn't there. The shot on the 1 is, but it is no hanger. I mean, he's got to hit this well. The thing is, when you're so close to the ball, you don't get that nice line from cue ball to object ball that that we all aim with, right? In some form or fashion. So you really got to trust what you look at, and a little bit of extra knowledge, knowing you can use the rail a little bit with the 1, and that's the tendency when you're close to it.
Yep.
And the reason that is, oh, he's going to get really fortunate here. And the reason that he may play this bank here and draw the cue ball a little bit, trying to get a little safe. The reason you tend to hit that thick is because the cue ball's so close to the object ball, it slides into the object ball. It doesn't have room to rotate, so you get a little bit of a skid action. Oh, nice shot.
Carlo is tied at 11 with Eklund Kachi as the highest Fargo rated players in the world. I thought I had stated that earlier. And
okay, it looks to me he can overcut the 1 to the right side rail, hit before the 4 on the left side rail, and bring the cue ball 2 rails all the way back down, somewhat behind the 2. It's something you would probably call like a mild safety. You may not get the snooker, but it's about all you got. Yeah, that's the shot I was talking about, just like that. And if you get a little fortune here.
Yeah, oh, not quite.
Yeah.
If he hits the side of the deuce, it goes over behind the 10.
But that's just all he had, Now the thing is, if Carlo had a little more open 2 ball, he, like a lot of the greats, they'll cut this one in. They're not afraid of this 1 ball shot at all. Now he may be doing something else, I'm not sure. Kicking behind it maybe, bringing the 1 back by the 2. He's gone behind the 4 with a little bump. He was trying to hit the 4 full in the face and let it come up and cover up the cue ball. He knows he's not going to like this. Cue ball is going over behind the 8, and the 1's going back up table here, George. Thing is here, a lot of people try to put right English on this to help the 1. It's actually quite the opposite. It's either straight or a hair of left and hit the 1 very full. Like that.
I was going to say that 2 ball looks like it's going to stop him from getting behind the 8. But he can see a piece of the 1.
Well, he cut the 1 more than he was supposed to. That's why the 1 got a piece of the 5 coming back up. And that's also why the cue ball got into the 2 a little bit more. But is he going to use the 7 here? Just float? Get the 1 past the 9?
Doesn't look like he's floating.
Yeah, just like that. He kind of cues down on the ball a lot of times, even if he's using a hair above center.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to, stun it. And I see the stroke now. The way he delivered the stroke made sense.
Almost like a drag stroke,
exactly,
but not with a real defined low tip.
Exactly.
So just a hair below center.
And he really nestled that cue ball against that 7 in the rail.
I like his chances to hit it 1 rail though, just because the great players, they usually are so good here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tie anything up. I would go for this hit, I think.
Well, he's got you can come right between the 6-8. It's a nice line. He's got a nice line to it.
Yeah, that looks like it's going between the 4-1 though. The line he's on. Oh no, he hit it nice.
He's going to put him back in the same spot.
Well, it looked
almost.
It looked like he played the shot, edging it and bringing the cue ball back down.
See? Didn't have to call him.
Well, I made a few phone calls there to get.
I
left my cue stick at the Q-Tech booth, but Ben Sutherland nicely bringing it to me. Got to start practicing for that U.S. Open, George. Now is he cutting at it? What's he doing? That to me is one of the toughest shots on the slick felt.
Coming across that and right in front of the pocket?
Yeah, and you want to hit it real full, but you can't afford to kiss it. And then you're wanting to dive the cue ball with a bunch of inside to come up behind the 9. It's just a tough shot, and he's actually left Alex very natural to get into the 8 with the cue ball here. So our first offensive look besides that combo that Alex missed in the opening shot. Squeezed it home. He's not going to like that, though. He's not a short guy, but man, that's a stretch.
He's looking to shoot his left-handed. He's opted for the bridge. Well, that's one of the good looks at the Predator bridge.
All ball fouls, so.
And John is looking intently, our referee.
He's going to fall on the rail here, so nothing getting any easier for Alex here in this opening game. 7-8's a little congested, but I think the 7 does play. He's not easy to put him behind the 5 here either, so because the cue ball rested on the rail. So does he take on this really difficult shot in the side? Tell you what he could do. He could cut the 3 onto the 5 and try and track the cue ball 1 rail up behind the 7, 8, and 9. That's a doable shot. Pretty easy to execute at this level.
Just like that, just like you mentioned.
It spread on him a little, though.
Oh, and it just moved.
Yeah.
Left him an opening. If he hits that 8 ball, it really, really locks him up tight.
Yeah, and unless he decides on a safety, he can't worry about much besides, hey, let me pocket this ball. He's coming into the 10 and 6 with a cue ball. Just got to hope he doesn't have any misfortune here. And if he pockets the 4, I believe he probably comes away with something. Pockets the 3, he comes away with something on the 4. All right, made the 6
Nicely
a little more
done.
difficult, but what a shot on the 3.
The 7 ball is open for the corner pockets.
Yeah, and this is a decision here. I mean, the 6-10 is such a huge ball to get behind if you try to draw for the side here. You may take on the corner now. I talked about Carlo before. He really relies on the draw stroke in a lot of manners to do things for him, you know.
It just did a lot for him.
Yeah. Well, he's still got to get on the 6, though.
I think he might have been trying to move him there.
Maybe. The main thing is he didn't want to get behind him. That way, if he went into him, he hopefully separated the cue ball and opened it up.
Yeah.
I think he can cheat this pocket and draw short side on the 6 for the lower left.
I agree. It looks like it comes right over, about the first diamond of the side pocket, below the side pocket.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's queuing up now. So that means he's going forward with the cue ball. That looks like perfect speed to me.
He does this so well, and there's quite a few shots that he's shown where he moves the ball so precise. There's 2 or 3 of them on YouTube where he just really shoots a couple of great shots for the position shots.
All right, he's not out of the woods though. He needs to get decent on the 7. Like this may not get it here. All right, it crept out enough to where I think he can draw his ball and take a cut on the 8. Yeah, that shot from the 5 to the 6, I call it using your talent. You know, sometimes you don't really have a definite route that gives you a lot of comfort. You just got to go and use a good speed control.
He's got a big suitcase full of that.
Yeah, that's for sure, like most of these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, what a sweet draw stroke that was. Held the line just about as good as you could. This is not easy, though. We talked about this. Anytime you're trying to come backwards with a froze ball,
picks up speed off the rail?
Well, it can just pull the ball off the rail easily. If it's not hit precise. Yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get him with a 10.
No, the 8's going to fall, I think. Ooh.
It stayed in the pocket, and it's deep in the pocket.
Yeah, that's deep,
yeah,
and way too stretched to jump the ball. So he should go cross corner here, catching the 2nd rail. Makes a big ball on the 8, and it brings the cue ball towards the 9 a bit. Now the thing is here, do you put more speed to try and get closer to the 9? If you do that, you could lose accuracy on the kick. So
you could follow it right in.
Yeah, I'd suggest just trying to creep up out of the pocket here and take a little distance on the 9.
I agree. Just make it. Oh.
And that's what I mean. He put more speed trying to hit that 2nd rail and make the cue ball go a little closer to the 9, and I think that cost him the hit there on the 8.
Well, 2 more balls to get the first game.
Yeah, we'll see how Carlo elects to break in game number 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Jeremy Jones here. We lost George for the remainder of this match, but a pleasant surprise, Christina Snyder joining us. Hey, Christina, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you tonight?
Good, good. This is our final match tonight until a very exciting day 4 and final day tomorrow. 2 undefeated players here. That 10 on the break will count, so that's going to make it 2-0 here in the first set. And it's funny, until you make one, you're just not sure of the rule.
Right.
So, you know, we play so many different formatted tournaments, so I like the ball counting on the break with the ref racking. I think I like the oohs and ahs and the excitement of the game with it.
And what have you guys been seeing here on the TV table today? How has the breaking been going?
I think it's actually breaking better than day 1. Day 2, we saw a lot of balls go in on the break. I think we saw, which I was surprised that the guys that weren't making balls on the break weren't changing, and that's very surprising to me. I think in this short format, we talked about it in Arizona, that you can't be stubborn. You know,
Right.
I mean, you can't expect for it to come around. It's a race to 4, 2 sets. So, and if you see your opponent making balls from a particular area, even if it's not, you know, your most favorite place to break from, you know, like I never liked the left side rail playing breaking 9 ball, but if I saw my opponent pouring them in and I'm not making them from the right, well, you got to change.
Yeah, I saw a lot of players switching up after a rack or 2, doing that side break, trying to make that 1 ball. And that seems to be pretty consistent on these tables.
Yeah, and there's more to that as well. The side break, you know, similar to the 2nd ball break in 8 ball, where if you don't feel like, if you don't make balls, the layout's going to be tougher for the
Right.
incoming player and your opponent. So now Kazakis with his ball in hand here, and nothing easy. Christina, who played in this tournament, I saw a little bit of your match. I think it was it against Tyler? Who'd you play your first match?
My first match was Alex Pagline.
Okay, that's who I
Yeah.
saw it was, yeah. And that was over there, I believe, on the third table or something
Yep,
like
that's
that.
correct. Yep.
It's got to be a treat to play Alex. I don't know if you've ever had that opportunity before, but
No, I've never played him, but he's, you know, he's been a friend of mine for a while, so he's always fun to be around, fun to play. So if I have to play one of the top players first, he's definitely one to enjoy the match.
yeah, he won't be mean mugging you like, you know.
No, you know,
No.
he's very respectful, very
Yeah,
joking around a lot, you know.
right. And all these guys are pretty great, but you know, they put that game face on. They're not wanting to give an inch.
Yeah, he's always been one of my favorite players.
Well, I think you're not alone there. He's going to have to take on a pretty tough 7-ball up in the corner here in a moment. Don't think the 5 goes off the 7. And I don't think you would really play that anyways, because you may not know where you're moving the 7 to. So
Right.
Christina is a Texan. Love to hear it. She resides in San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio, Texas. We have a lot of good pool players out of Texas. I see a lot of them here this weekend for the BCA.
Yeah, more and more every day it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the tester in the rack. Christina's man is still in the event, just took a close loss, but just got to win one more to get in that final 32. Got to be exciting for Daniel.
Yeah, he's been juggling both he's playing in the BCA and this one, and he's just been playing back to back. So I think from now on, that the BCA is over, he's has some time to focus. So this is a very similar shot that Carlo just missed in the last game, huh?
Yeah, similar. He had to go past the side, and we talked about in Alex's first match here on the TV table that we had. He played probably more flawless than anyone has here on the TV table, but he had a pretty easy match. So we were wondering, you know, is that going to carry over whenever the matches start to get a little bit more difficult and a little bit more meaningful, you know? So soft kick to lay on this. Oh, look at this shot. I love that shot. That's a shot you can roll out to a lot of times that players won't notice. That 2-rail kick and thinning it up the rail and letting the cue ball come across.
There's great speed too there. You can still see the 7s. You can do something with it, but
yeah, I'm not sure he can get to the top side of it, you know, to really put the 7 maybe on the back cushion and the cue ball up by the 9 maybe or something like that. The worry here is not necessarily getting the snooker, but these days you can't leave that jump shot. You know, you can't push just 7 near that side pocket and just put them behind the 10 and think you're okay.
yeah, he's going for it here. Like you said, since he doesn't have the other safety shot there, I think he has, you know, good odds to have a shot if he makes this. So
Yeah, great shot there. Again, this is a 3rd round winner side match that will get these guys, whoever wins, into the final 32 and day 4. Whoever loses will have to go on to win one more match this evening. If that catches the point, ooh, afraid that ball might kill a little bit, right?
yeah.
Get a little flat on the 9. Yeah,
you know, and on the new felt, the ball's sliding a little bit, so that's a dangerous shot there. And in this format, so, you know, how is it working? The final 16 on the winners and the final 16 on the losers redraw against each other in the
that's right. A winner, an undefeated player will play a 1-loss side player. It'll be a random draw between the 2 sides. So I mean, all great players, of course, you know, or what you would say really good players, up to great players. But you'd say percentage-wise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at the CueSports International Expo. This is the Vegas Diamond Pro event. Our first look at Alex breaking the balls. Hit those sweet. Hit those sweet. You're gonna get a little bad kiss on the cue ball, maybe. Oh my. And pull it like most sports can be very cruel.
Yeah, good break, not rewarded, but
Yeah, you hit him great. Okay, I think I would follow this in that other side pocket by the 7 and just hit past the side with the cue ball, leaving that little 1 row angle off the 2 to come for the 3, I think anyways. He could follow down to the rail and up and get a little closer. Nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't want to be underneath it myself, but the thing is, if you get a little thin underneath, it could get tricky. You know, I think that's okay though. Don't see many problems here, huh, Christina?
nope, everything looks pretty wide open. Yeah, you know, in these short formats, every little mistake is magnified, so I'm sure Alex is frustrated sitting in the chair here with Carlo if he gets through this match, or through this game, to break again.
He's going to try to make them both. Now, everyone calls it a short format, which, you know, it could be longer, that's for sure, but you know, right after this, we're playing races to 8. You know, we're playing 2 sets races to 4 with a shootout. So I don't see a whole lot of difference there. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and, you know, as I've heard some players talking about it, thinking, oh, it's such a short race. We can't, you know, it's tough to play. You know, it closes the gap some. But, you know, in the first event in Arizona, we still saw the cream of the crop raising to the top. You still saw, you know, the usual people towards the end. And even when they do come down to the shootouts, you know, it comes really down to the most consistent players.
Yeah, most prepared.
Right.
And it seems like, you know, Carlo made that final to lose to Federer in a shootout, but I never heard Carlo complain about it. I never heard Federer complain about it. They just got on and, you know, got to doing their business, and look where they got, right? So I think if you look at the shootout as a, you know, like a mental anguish, well, you're probably not going to do that well in it overall.
Right.
You got to learn to kind of fall in love with it, I think, or look at it like an asset. You know, if the shootout's an asset, well, now you only have to win 1 set to get to that shootout for sure.
Right.
You know, so you can look at it a couple different ways. Carlo up 3-1 now in set number 1.
I was most surprised to see how many players actually didn't know how the shootout goes, where the ball is spotted, what you're supposed to be doing. So many of them needed a referee to come explain what was happening. So I'm very surprised how many of the players come into the tournament of this magnitude and not quite knowing what they're.
Yeah. Well, some things changed from Arizona. Arizona, it was the first to 4. Now we're playing with just 4 innings, which I think is the best way. And if we go to a sudden death, you get backed up a diamond now. So, which wasn't the case in Arizona either. I think those tweaks are both very good tweaks. Now, the thing that alarmed me is I've seen a couple players, when they went to the sudden death side, where they had to back it up a diamond, they weren't really sure where they wanted to shoot from.
Right.
And that seems like something, you know, even if you just found that out here, you should already know, I know where I'm putting the cue ball if I go to the shootout. There is no question mark, I don't think anyways.
Well, look at this break.
Yeah. And this is similar. Now, he never made 4 on the break in his first match, but Carlo did pour some balls in on this table in a win earlier in the tournament. So.
It definitely has a good spread here. I don't really see any problems. You know, maybe the toughest is
4 to the 6.
4 to the 6, right?
Yeah. And that's not really that bad. The 4's off the rail 2 to 3 inches, which offers you a lot of different ways to do things. Surprised he came back for the side there. Carlo keeps it pretty simple until needed a lot of times, and he did have the 2 available in the lower right by the 4 there.
4, yeah.
Commented before you got in the booth, and I've commented about Carlo a lot. He relies on his draw stroke a lot. You know, for a Filipino player especially, a lot of them are raised in the conditions to where it's very hard to draw the ball.
Right.
You know, very humid. Quite honestly, maybe not this generation, but I've been there. There are some tables outside. You know,
right.
like it's so. You know, maybe not Carlo's generation that had to deal with that as much, but most of them really learn to use the rails and more of a follow kind of way to play the game. Now he has that arsenal as well, but. But he definitely doesn't mind drawing the cue ball. I like this play. Keep it simple.
Right. He gets out of here. We'll be moving into the next set.
And a super nice guy too, Carlo. Never has a harmful word for anyone. And now wins set number 1. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy Jones with Christina Snyder at the Vegas Diamond here at the Rio in Las Vegas, Nevada. Alex Kazakis to get his break, his opening break here in set number 2. He lost the lag, so Carlo broke in the first set and Alex in the second. Anything you see going on here, Christina, that you want to chat about?
Well, let's see. He had a good break in the last one we saw. Looks like he got a better result this time.
It looks like the 3 just opened up to where it's playable. Now he's going to have to find a route for the cue ball, maybe 2 rails between the 6-4 and the 2 doesn't pass the 10. This is kind of touchy. The 2 doesn't pass the 8. He can creep up on the 2 for the lower right-hand corner, but the path isn't that great to get there.
Yeah, it's a short window of error there.
That's right. Now, does he maybe bump the 2? Because that's a possibility. It is going 2 rails towards there.
Yeah.
I think he's bumped the 4 instead, and that was trying to really get that sharp angle to come off of the 2 in the lower right-hand corner there. But
yeah, and the speed he was hitting it, I think he was trying to come across for the bottom right corner there.
By the 3.
Yeah.
He may fire at this 210 here and bring the cue ball back up table. I mean, the only reason I say that is I'm not in love with a whole lot of other safeties. You can't see the left side of the 2.
Right. I mean, I think he has a pretty good amount of space back there behind the 6-4 to hide the cue if he can.
Maybe go for the combo and move the cue ball back
yeah.
there. Because he figures to hit the combo decent enough to where the 2 stays on this end of the table, even if he misses the 10. So probably makes it, to be honest with you. Oh, the 10 came down and kissed the cue ball, so this is not going to be what he wanted.
No.
Well, I don't know. I'm looking at this. I'm not so sure this 2 plays. It's real close. Oof. That's a great camera.
I think it does.
I think it does too.
Oh. Actually, now this is the camera angle. I'm not sure. From here where I'm sitting, it looks like it does, but
I know. TV will make you try to look from the side when it's just really all 2-dimensional, no matter how you look at it. And that tells us that it wasn't playable. Yeah.
And now he bumped that 9 a little bit now, so the 3's not open anymore.
Yeah. Surprising with the 3 not being playable that he's going this route at the kick shot.
Yeah.
I would rather kick to where I'm not opening the 3 and 9 up with the cue ball or the 2 maybe here. So
yeah, I mean, maybe he's also thinking though if he
makes it or something.
Well,
or gets on top of him.
I think he's got a good. Yeah, I was going to say at that speed he has a good way to lock it up if he doesn't make it, but he didn't hit it.
Yeah, I don't think he got a rail there. Yeah, with the cue ball. Cue ball came underneath the 2 and just kind of coasted down. The 2 came up and opened those balls, but you called the 3 got locked up, and I think I would have had to send the 2 up table, kicking the same way that Carlo sent the 2 back behind them balls, you know.
Right.
All right, he's using a lot of shot clock here. Not the type of shot you really want to use your extension on when you have 6 or 7 balls left on the table, you know. Ball in hand, you know, in this situation anyways. That's just like after the break you get a minute, right?
Right.
Well, you really don't want to have to use the extension on top of that minute. and I see it happen all the time. Wow, I barely got there. But I do see it happen all the time where guys burn the minute and the extension right after the break. And it is necessary occasionally, but
yeah, well, you know, that first shot is really gets you in line or doesn't, and
yeah, it is important, and I understand that, but hard to predict what's going to happen throughout the rack.
Right.
Where you might
need
that
it more
extension,
later.
yeah, an equipment thing. You might need to get to the jump cue or whatever. So he's close enough here. He should kill the cue ball, I think.
Yeah, he wasn't. His body language didn't like it, but I'm sure he can.
Now,
there, yeah.
Geez, did he get the 7? Doesn't pass the 10, so he's going to have to check the ball with a lot of draw and a touch of maybe left English here. When you're close to it, you can really make it, you know, slow down with a little tip position.
Low left here. Kill it a little bit, yeah.
And that's
Got
usually
even shorter than he wanted.
And that's usually what happens too. You're trying so hard not to go too far, you usually end up on the opposite side of things, which is a little underhit. He's fine though. I mean, he's got to address this. Of course, this is a missable ball, but maybe comes 3 rails short side for the 8 in the left side pocket here. Maybe just pulls it down and plays the 8 in the right side pocket. He's going to catch the 9.
Nope.
Okay.
He's okay.
Carlo putting on a little cue ball exhibition. I'll tell you, he's now either 36 or 38. Looks about the same as when I met him some 15 years ago or so, maybe. He overcut the 9 there, though, to the pocket. That's what cost him the cue ball, getting a little out of line.
Okay, no problem there. Carlo takes the first game of the second set.
And keeps that lead. Alex has not had a lead in any part of this match.
Who did Alex play getting to this point? Do you know?
I don't recall. I think it was Jason Bell. He had a big where he played pretty much perfect. And that was the one we were commenting. He was a huge favorite in the match, so sometimes easy to get comfortable in those situations, right? But I don't know what his other win was.
Okay.
George is usually our guy for that. Keeps about 6 or 8 different tablets here in the booth for all the information.
So this is the winner's side matches. We have a couple more or one more match on the one loss side tonight for the qualification.
Yeah, for the qualification. whoever loses this match will have to win one more. All these third rounds on the winner's side all day were the same scenario. So, wow. And again, probably nobody's broke the balls better than Carlo on this table. And this isn't just this match. I'm talking about his last match as well.
Yeah, don't really see any problems here.
Now he's got a great starter. The 3, 4, and 5 are grouped together. The 7's over the pocket. 8 and 9 near each other. So this is like what you want for the championship, I think. Now he's gonna be stretched over the 7. We're playing all ball foul, so got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, as a short person, I understand this feeling.
He's just got to come back, maybe, you know, a little. Oh,
Miscued a little bit there.
Oh, and he's gonna be a little bit snookered. We'll get definitely a great camera view of that in a moment to see if he's got to maybe swerve his ball. And it's amazing how often the miscue happens when you're close to the ball drawing. It's like you're trying to make that short, quick stroke and get the cue out of the way.
Yeah, a little stretched over the table.
Right.
It helps contribute to that.
I think he's okay here, though. I don't think he hardly has to really swerve it much at all. That last camera look we had tells me he can maybe just go right by the 10 and use this bottom rail to slide this 7 in.
No, looks like he has to curve it a little bit.
I think he's a favorite, though.
I'm sure he makes it. I'm curious if he
Scratch
runs
the
into
9.
these balls.
Scratch off the 9 maybe in the side. He went by him.
Nope. And it looks a little bit shorter than he probably wanted to be. But I think he's just enough there to be able to get past it. 3 rails around.
Yeah, he may go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 9 in the corner. It just depends on, you know, he can see how thin he can play it. I don't think he wants to play it uber soft.
Yeah, just based on what he...
Like that.
Yeah, what he just did with the cue.
Didn't quite catch that 5th rail, but the good thing is anytime you can play position off naturally, right? Your position is not only going to be much better, but your ball pocketing percentage goes way up.
So no problems there. It's been 3 racks since we've... No, Alex broke last round.
Yeah. Alex actually shot the 1 and... All right, we're back. Well, not much Alex can do, huh?
Yep. Just wait your turn. Take your opportunities when you get them at the table. If you get them.
That's right.
The way Carlo's breaking, I'm not sure he will.
Yeah, he's made the 1. The 2's over the side.
Oh, yeah.
Looky here. Oh, well, there you go. He's made 3 on the break. So...
A lot of balls sitting in the pocket, too.
He's probably made twice as many balls on the break in this short 2 sets than anyone else has on this table. Maybe twice as many. He's made 4 once, 3 once. He's made a ball, I think, every break. So.
Yeah, as I was walking up a few minutes ago, or right before the last round, I was talking with Shane, and he was just complaining about having trouble making balls on the TV table. But obviously it can be done. He's not.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get some variance, you know, just because we're using a triangle rack instead of a template. But, you know, I think as a whole, even though Shane's having trouble with that, I think he doesn't mind it overall. You know?
Yeah.
I think he'll figure it out, and he'll like the tough layouts overall when, you know, coming down towards the end of the tournament. So, because he is playing lights out right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, he mainly just said that he was struggled with it earlier, and he was about to play again on the TV table and was talking about how he needs to figure out how to adjust it.
Okay, speed's important. Okay, he can dodge the point, I think. Might have to use a little bit of the side rail to run the 8 in. That way he doesn't hit the point with the cue ball. But I think he's okay.
Yes.
A lot of people want to throw this ball with left, and sometimes that'll make you go towards that point almost with the cue, you know, because when you put left on it, when it hits the object ball, it makes the cue ball jerk left a little. So, and same thing for right English. He did real well there, though. Oof. That one
wobbled in, but
rubbed its feet as it went in. Oh, Carlo playing like he's got a dinner reservation somewhere, right? Breaking, running a lot of racks.
Yeah, putting on a clinic here with breaking. We'll see if he can keep this up in the fourth rack.
Yeah, and I know Alex won that one game. He didn't run out, though, and I'm trying to think he may have only pocketed about 9 balls in this 2 sets, maybe less. Carlo's done most of the shooting. I'd like to know how that shootout turned out over there between Shark and Donnie. Hunter Lombardo getting warmed up for what will be a 1-loss side match, but that is to get into the final 32. Jason Shaw also in the same position over on the far corner table. So pretty much whoever's your favorite players, they're here most likely. So, took a little off that one.
Yeah.
6 balls tracking though. And he's going to get a shot at his pocket. I mean, this on the newer felt, Christina, if you can stay calm with the stroke here, got a pretty big pocket on the 1 ball. You know, it'll slide in a little bit.
Right. Yeah. It's not the picnic table he had before, but I think it's a key shot to get into the rack, and then there's really no problems from there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. He wouldn't necessarily want to roll this, but he needs to go by the 2 unless he draws into the 2. I don't think, can he draw on the far side of the 2, Christina, like towards the 5? That would be ideal.
It looks like there might be a few inches in between this 5-2 to roll in there. Yep, that's exactly what he...
Okay. And the reason why he did that is if he went forward, the 2 went in the upper left, but he could get over the 7-4 or get a real funny angle, maybe get a little thin. I like this shot, just real natural, 2 rails up and down the table. He'll dive down by the 10 and then back up between the 10-5. Straight high English, I think. Yeah, just like that. Got a little step going on, huh? It's feeling good.
Walking towards the next round.
And I was going to say that before the break earlier. You know, it's going to be 32 great players that make it to that final 32, but ooh.
That was a bit of a stroke.
Yeah. But you still, you know, percentage-wise, you know, you could draw a filler if he has a loss or whatever, but you probably still want to be undefeated and draw one of those 1-loss side players, I would think.
Yeah, and from here on out, it's a single elimination, right?
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, with all tournaments, you want to stay on the winner's side as much as possible.
Yeah, well, some people say, well, I just make the final 32. It doesn't matter, you know. But I think, you know, if you did it over and over, you'd see you're going to draw a little better if you come from the other undefeated side, you know. And Alex Kazakis is going to have to draw a little better in his next match and hope he gets a few more opportunities. Because this one, I think, is pretty much curtains.
Yep. I think, yeah, the break is always so important in these games, and Carlo is really demonstrating that in this one.
Well, that he's made some fine outs behind it.
I think this is our last match for the evening.
That's correct. We'll be back at noon tomorrow, I believe it is. We'll have 5 consecutive matches to crown a champion here for the Vegas Diamond. I personally want to thank you for joining us. I'm sure we'll have you back in the booth.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, Christina Snyder, with all the information. Back here at noon tomorrow. Stay tuned.